There's something that comes up often in the work that I do, and it's this idea of choice, or perceived lack of choice, more specifically. And in our current context, in a pandemic landscape, these choices show up on a daily basis. How often do you choose to go out? Do you choose to keep a social distance? Do you choose to wear a mask or not wear a mask? This element of choice, especially in an environment where we feel restricted, is crucial to our sense of well-being. And so today's active communication technique is something I talk about in the Winning with Words Championship Communication for Coaches course. I want to bring it into the context of today, and you can use this in a variety of ways. So I'll tell you what it is first, and then I'll give you a recent example. This idea of choice, and I like to say in everything that we do, we have a choice. Now, you may not like the choices that you have, but you do have a choice. So remembering that we have a choice, one thing I used to tell our teams was this idea of choices, decisions, consequences. In everything you do, you have a choice. Based off of the choices that you have, at some point, you're going to pick one, and that's making a decision. Based upon the decision that you make, there are consequences. Now, consequences inherently are neither good nor bad. They're simply the result of what happens when you make a decision. We've been conditioned to think that consequences are negative, the consequence of your actions, when in reality, the consequence is simply the result of what happens once you've made a decision. So I always used to tell our team, make good choices, especially over a long weekend like the one we have coming up. If you make good choices, you're more likely to end up with positive consequences. Take this element of choice and let's bring it into a language perspective. I was working with the leadership group of a program recently, and they were creating a charter for their team. Basically, some guidelines around how are we going to commit to keeping each other safe so that we as a team give ourselves the best chance at health, and by being healthy, being able to engage in our upcoming sports season. They'd gone through the charter, and they had some great behaviors outlined, and now they started to get into the consequences. And one of the consequences that they read to me was, if you get caught going to a bar. And I said, let's back up for a second. Let's take a look at that word caught. What does the word caught imply? And I said, well, it implies that we've busted you doing something you're not supposed to be doing. I said, right. Do you have any control, really, over where your teammates go and what they do 24 hours a day? And they said, no. I said, do you want to be in control of that? They said, no, we don't want our teammates to feel like we're micromanaging them. I said, exactly. So let's change the language. What if instead of caught, you use the word choose? So if you choose to go to a bar, and they said, yeah, that sounds better, that feels better. You can take this example and put it into any area of life. And if you're a parent, you've likely done this already. It's like dinner, right? So do you want to eat your broccoli before your chicken or after your chicken? You're still going to eat your broccoli, but you get to choose when you want to do it. Think about, especially when it comes to boundary setting expectations, think about incorporating the element of choice into the language that you use. It's the difference between saying someone is a selfish person or they made a selfish choice. So how can we use choice and choose in the language, in the conversations that we have with others, to illustrate to them that they have choices, that they are making choices, that they are in control of their actions and their behaviors. When we do that, it's then easier for that person to start to understand that they get to make good choices. And based on the choices that they have and the decisions that they make, there are consequences. So choices, decisions, consequences. I hope you make good choices this weekend, and thanks for watching.